pops up on your screen, and you have to click the word "got it." That just tells them you understand it's being recorded, and then gets out of the way. And then I'm going to mute everybody. But of course, if you have any questions during the flow of the class, you can unmute and ask. Okay. So get to where, once again, you have this particular setup. Chairs, backs of chairs facing in. You want those chairs in front of you and then off to the left and right, so that when we get up, it's kind of like we have a little playground right out in front here, and that's where we're going to do all of our work. So you need your chair to be back from those, your sitting chair to be back, and then have room in front, right? So however you set that up for yourself, have that be, you have this little arena. And then the next important bit is scoot forward so that your buttock bones are at the front edge of the chair and your hands resting on your knees or on your thighs. And ideally, the chair you're sitting in is not so low that your hips are below your knees, right? We don't want this position with the knees above the hips. Ideally, the hips are at level of knees or slightly higher, and that's what gives us the freedom of movement of the pelvis. And that is incredibly important because the spinal alignment, the vertical line of the spinal column, depends on the situation down here in the hips, which the hips are attached to the legs. And so this relationship here is what really determines quite a bit, actually. It determines the ability to easily create, this word is zhongjang, a Chinese term which means central upright. So if we don't have our central upright, we've got a whole bunch of other problems that that are easily fixed if we can just achieve zhongjang, central upright. But a lot of times we've got slouching, people have, one shoulder here, there's some kind of a collapse happening. So if we don't have our central upright, then all the muscles and the nervous system in the body are working to try to keep us up, and everything's holding on for dear life, and it's exhausting. So one of the beautiful things about achieving central upright is easy, relax. And so that's why I try and express that this should be everyone's homework practice at bare minimum, is scooting to the edge of a chair, getting the top of your head above the bottom of the pelvis, the floor of the pelvis, finding this vertical upright structure, and then practicing what they call in the Chinese terminology, chun wan, which means softening and relaxing and releasing as your mode of finding stability. So we find our vertical line, then we release the skin, release the muscle, release the joints, release any clenching, and allow this settling, softening, releasing quality down through the chair, down through the legs, down to the ground. Now, as we're softening, we lose that central upright, we start slouching again, well then now we're in trouble, right? So then that gives us a hint. Oh yeah, wait, I gotta put everything just so, but I don't just keep holding and holding and holding and holding. If I achieve zhongjang and then I release, now you're settling your weight down into the ground. So that's called chun wan. It's a technique, you could say. It's letting gravity do what gravity does. We're not fighting gravity. We're actually letting gravity take everything that should settle, let it settle. And then yin and yang or polar opposites or duality, that rule has this application that there's this equal opposite. So when we let gravity go down, levity is present. Levity is also present. And so they call that Qing Ling, light, nimble, easy. So if you've ever seen someone practice Tai Chi who's good at it, there's this fluidity, this lightness, this floating quality. And so that's where that comes from, is central upright and through lines, Chung One, releasing everything that should settle down, let it settle down. And notice that you don't fall into a puddle. You're left here with levity, Qingling, light and nimble. Okay? And so that is what you're doing at a sort of elemental level when you're doing sitting meditation. That's what you're tinkering with. So this is homework. And I think with Parkinson's, people should do this on the hour, every hour kind of thing, or every 2 hours, or every 3 hours. You just pause, find a comfortable seat, sit at the edge, recalibrate, reorient your mind, your nervous system, your body, all the relationships from this joint to the next joint to the next joint, and achieve that Zhongjung, Chunwan, and Qingling quality to the point where eventually you never leave that. That's the intention. So now that we have that, let's just do 10 breaths, 10 breath cycles with conscious attention to the breath. In the nose, take a breath in, holding it there for a little bit, just pausing at the top. Then out the mouth, like a sigh. This feeling of soft release. When you're ready, in the nose. Like hold. When you're ready, out the mouth. Soft release. At the bottom of the exhale, just stay empty for a moment. Don't inhale it. When you're ready, in the nose. Out the mouth. Do that 5 more times. Pay attention to the fact that there is a chassis, a layer of muscles and structure that are moving, ebbing and flowing, expanding, compressing with each breath. So now we're loosening up places deep in at the deep, lower, deeper levels of the body. We're moving them. We're getting those to have some liveness, some mobility, just from sitting upright, relaxing, and then breathing thoroughly. Take about 3 more breaths. In the nose, holding, out the mouth. So this is your homework. It's easy, quote unquote. That doesn't mean it's not impactful, not powerful. It's actually incredibly powerful just to do this. And it's a form of mastery. You need to become or keep cultivating this mastery of the mind and its relationship to everything that it controls, which is everything. Right? Now, let's move into our first little movement sequence. So the first movement is elbows back, shoulder blades back, chest up, chin up, arching the back. So try to create a bit of a back bend, arch. Then slide your hands forward past your kneecaps till your arms are straight. Hollow the chest back and drop your head as if you're trying to look at your belly button. And again, hands come back. Elbows back, shoulder blades back, chest up, chin up, look up. And then hands forward, past the knees, drop the head, follow the front, open the back. And again, hands back, elbows back, shoulder blades back. This should be with your inhale. And then hands forward, exhaling as you follow the chest, round back, drop the head. Let's do that twice more. Inhale, arching, and exhale. Round. One more. Now, settle back to that starting position, the vertical. Ideally, you should be able to have better Jong or central upright, better Chun-Won, because we just moved our tissues and joints. So you should be able to soften a little more, release a little more, and feel that lightness. Now, next movement, rotation. Left hand goes forward past the knee, right hand slide back, elbow back. Turn the shoulders, turn the head like you're just looking behind you to the right. Then switch. Left hand pulls back as right hand slides forward. Turn the shoulders, turn the head, look over the shoulder behind you to your left. And then switch again. Turn. So all those movable parts, the pelvis-leg relationship at the hips, the 24 vertebrae in your spine that go from the base all the way up through the neck. The head, the skull can turn and move. The shoulder blades are sliding and sliding. So find movement of all the many parts as you turn and then turn the other way. Keep turning and turning. And remember, Ching Ling, meaning light, nimble, stay soft, stay loose. And after you finish your next one, turn back to the middle and just stay in the middle again. And just feel that meditation position. Jung, Chun-Won, softening, loose down to the earth. Ching-Ling, light and nimble. And keep that. Learn that you can trust. You don't have to hold. You can release. Arms hang. Change your weight to your right buttock. Lean, just like a tree tilting in the wind. Lean. Left wrist, just float it up right in front of you like a marionette, like a little puppet. And light and empty in your left foot. And then switch. Leaning across, or tilting across, leaning, drooping. Right wrist up, right foot empty. And then switch again. Broad. Loose. Same idea, just loose. So this one is great at showing us the concept of having the middle represented by the belly button, this place in the body. That's our middle pivot point, like the middle of a seesaw. And so as we loosen up the rest of our body, we have this feeling of Ching-Ling and light and nimble, we come to reveal this middle pivot. And so then we come to rely on this here in the middle for our stability or our sort of organization. All right, come back to the middle and just stay in the middle. And again, stay light, stay nimble, stay loose through the arms and shoulders. Let's shrug the shoulders straight up, way up as high as they can go, and then slide the shoulders down all the way in. Let's do that twice more. So this is the shoulder blades, the scapula on our back. They're back here on the back. The arms are plugged into the scapula. And those are, both the scapula are often places where people are glued, stuck. Bunch of muscles back there that get all tangled up and twisted. And then it makes us top heavy. It makes us feel kind of like we're easily going to fall over to the side versus being loose here, light. Now, the shoulder circles here. Shoulders go forward and up, back and down. And just let your arms hang. Notice how my arms are hanging like cooked noodles. They come along for the ride. The shoulders go forward. The arms come a little forward. Shoulders go up. The arms lift up. Shoulder blades squeeze back behind you like you're cracking a walnut between them. Arms float back a little. Shoulder blades down, arms swing down and under. We go over all these types of movements a little more thoroughly in the Friday 11 o'clock class. We're just trying to get the basics here before we stand up. So we're doing under, forward and up, over and back, like so. Now reverse, so we stay under and go back, come up, over the top, come forward and down, back, up, over, forward, down, under, back, up, over, down, under, up, over, down, under and up, over, under and up, over, and down. And then our last one we do just to unpack what's up here. Bend the elbows. Keep the elbows bent. Go elbows out and up. So notice how I'm sort of chicken winging the elbows up. That opens up this space in here. This is an area that tends to, again, just be sort of collapsed, compressed, and then elbows down. Then we take elbows around in front and touch them together. Try to squeeze your forearms together. This should open up your middle and upper back. Then do that again. Elbows down, shoulders relaxed. We go out and up. And then down. Then the elbows around in front, squeezing. Down. One more. Out and up. Down. So just think about this like we're unpacking baggage. We're cleaning out the attic. We're cleaning out an area of our house that's got a bunch of clutter, right? Now, elbows straight back behind you. Straight back where we're squeezing these muscles here and opening the front here. Then go elbows down, forward, up. So elbows up, hands sliding down your back. And then elbows point forward, down, and then behind you, straight back. And then elbows down, forward, up. Forward, down, back. One more. Again, we're just unpacking. Or you can think of it like wringing out a rag that's got some like unnecessary liquid stuck in. Now, last one in this little set, elbows out, palms open facing the floor. Now, right hand low, left hand high, cross. Cross, and then hug your own torso. Crawl your hands around like you're trying to touch the spine. Come around the body. Close. And then open. Elbows go straight out to the side. Let's go right hand high, left hand low. Cross. And then wrap and crawl those hands around. Squeeze. Hug the torso. And then open. We'll do one more of each of those. One left high, right low, cross and hug. Open. And switch. And open. Elbows down, arms down. Swing. So this one here illustrates the important bit of the arms. So a lot of times we think of the arm bone and where it plugs into the socket as the place from which to swing the arm. But actually it's inside of there, the space of the chest muscles, shoulder, that convergent space, and the looseness of the shoulder blade that we swing like a pendulum. So it's got to be this free, loose quality up here. So now, sorry, not the alternate yet. So both at the same time, just get this loose, free swing and let the arms go behind you a little bit. So there's this swinging back and forward. So get that freedom, that looseness. And then let's do the alternating one, where it's one forward, one back. And let this cause this little slight rotation through the torso. So this is, when we're walking, this has to be something free. When you're swinging the legs and taking your steps, we also have to be walking, turning, twisting, pivoting, loose, right? And a lot of times what's happening is we're holding and walking sort of like a stick figure, walking like we're made of concrete, versus this like loose, pivoting, sliding, gliding quality. So you can work on all of this just from your chair. You can get all these areas prepared, right? That's what we've just done. Now let's prepare the lower half just a bit. Scoot back on your chair so you feel very stable. Bring the right knee up. Pull the heel in towards the butt like a spring loading. No hands. So just use the brain, use the control. Pull in, and then push away. Like you're pushing something away from you, and then redraw the leg back up, and then set that foot down. Let's do that with the left leg. Pull the knee up, the heel in like a spring loading. Push. All the way straight. Reload. Set the foot down. Right knee and foot load. Push. Load. Down. So we need unhindered movement through the full range of all the joints. So this includes the knee and hip, foot a little bit. We're loading, we're pushing, we're loading, we're down. We want this feeling light, nimble, fluid. We don't want to grab onto the leg. We want to float it loose. And note that we can control this body quite well with zero grip, total softness, total looseness, what they call sung in Tai Chi. Sung, supple, like a baby. So loose, pliable, free moving. And there's a power and a potency in that quality. Now, straighten your right leg, point your foot, flex your foot, point your foot, flex your foot. We got to make sure the foot and ankle are nimble, not stuck. Now, right foot, tilt the foot in, out, in, out. Called inversion, eversion, inversion. Now circle, in, around, and out, in, around, and out. Get that full range. Reverse. And down. Other. Point and flex. Invert, evert, tilt, tilt. Circle. And reverse circle. And down. Scoot forward to the front edge of your chair. Step your feet apart. You've got extra room here in the groin area. Lift your toes up, heels are on the ground, turn. Notice what I just did. My knees are pointed in and my feet are pointed in, and the groin area is closed. It's kind of squeezed closed. Now lift your toes and turn open. Groin area open, legs externally rotating, feet turned out. Pelvis and spinal column just sitting there as they are. Closing, toes come in, knees come in, right? And make sure you're actually turning on the heel so it's the foot, the ankle, the whole leg turns in. In. Notice how my knees are touching, right? My toes are pointing in, groin closed, and then open all the way. Toes point out, knees out, and do it again. In, pick up the toes, out. So unhindered, unblocked movement through the range. External, internal, external, internal. So space, this groin space has to be open rather than glued, right? So that's what we just did. Now bring the feet back hip distance. That same space is where we also forward fold. So now bow forward, bringing your chest close to your knees. And then sit vertical. And then lean a little bit back from the hip area. Lean back. And then sit vertical. So I'll turn sideways so you can really see. What I'm not doing is rounding my back now. The spine stays long, but I'm folding from the hip crease where the legs and the pelvis meet. That's the junction from which we need to move freely, leaning back. Right now I'm sitting up. I'm leaning back from the hips. And then forward. So take that 3 more times. We got to have unhindered movement at this relationship. Unhindered. Back, forward, and back again. Back, forward. All right. Now sit vertical. Now all of that gets put together. Loose arms, free light legs. Now what we do is we slide the feet back underneath, loose shoulders. Notice something here. When I get ready to stand up, my first gesture is not up. It's forward, out of the chair here. Butt is behind the ankles. Shoulders, arms, head are in front of the ankles. So I got this position, and then I just rise up all the way to standing. Same thing when I sit down. I've got to send the butt at that hip joint. I got to send that back and loose through the arms, shoulders, and head. And then folding at that hip, sinking, find the chair with the buttocks, and then lean back to the sitting position. Let's do that twice more. So think forward and think down, meaning let your body weight go down to the earth. And then this light, nimble, levity body, loose body, can move with ease. Fold, sink. Let's do that one more time. Pour the weight through the earth. Rise up. Now the Tai Chi squat. Tai Chi meaning it's soft, it's supple. We just let the butt go back. Sink. Now don't sit in your chair. Sink down with the butt as if you're going to sit in your chair and try to touch close to the floor with your dangling arms, your loose arms. And then rise back to standing all the way up. We'll do that twice more. Hip hinge. Sink. Dangle those loose arms, see if you can touch the shoes, touch the floor, and rise back up. One more. Butt sinks back and down. Loose. And we rise. Great job. Now, you got your chair set up. Come over to the right side chair, and the hand can touch it for safety, right? But you don't need to on this first one. On this first set, we basically do it no hands on the chair, but it's there should you like almost lose your balance. Now, just standing vertical. Remember your middle pivot, the belly button. Keep that idea in mind. Your mind, they say in Tai Chi, mind in the Dantian, mind down here. Now, change the body weight casually only to your right leg. And then change it just casually. By casual, I mean soft, relaxed. You're kind of like falling down to the earth through the leg. And then fall down to the earth to the other leg. And fall down through the earth. And notice Zhong, central upright. If you move from this pivot, there's no leaning. So a lot of times when we're frozen in our middle, that's why people, when I'm working with them, I notice they try to get their body weight over by doing something like this, and that's very bad for balance. Versus when you're loose, your vertical stays perfectly intact, and you can change leg to leg, and you could keep a teacup on your head and you wouldn't spill a drop, right? And make sure your shoulders are loose. That's the other thing I see people grabbing here. Just let them hang. Your arms won't fall off. Now, the next time you are in your left leg, right foot should feel empty. Lift the heel and try to get to the tippy toes. Try to get so you're so light on those toes, 100% mountain, 0% cloud, light as a cloud. And then change that. So now it's right leg 100% mountain, left leg is a cloud, get to the tippy toes. So if you can make this change, you can walk. You can even run. You can climb up stairs. You can walk through the mountains, right? If you can get sturdy and mobile, and then change that 100% sturdy, mobile. Now, for level 2 of this exercise, you'll probably need the chair for safety, so keep that in mind. The weight goes down through your left leg, get to the tippy toes of your right foot, and then lift. Put the foot back down to the earth, empty. Then change. So now right leg full, left leg empty, get to the tippy toe, disconnect it from the floor, put it back down with 0 body weight. So again, that's another bit where a lot of times our body weight gets pulled down versus this free movement down. And then change. Get to the tippy toe, float, leg down. Change from your middle pivot. Empty, full, use the emptiness to move the leg both up and back to the earth. Change. Now, if you feel pretty confident with that, go no hands. No hands on the chair. Loose, relaxed shoulder. And then level 3 is where we just go for the full range, use the chair as needed. As the weight is going down through the left, bring this all the way up as high as you can. Then all the way down, 0 weight, change. So this other saying in Tai Chi, the primary direction is down. So if we focus on down, and then we focus on down, then the up is taken care of. It's only when we forget the down and we try to do something up here that we end up uprooting ourselves and maybe tripping, falling, stumbling. But if you remember, oh yeah, down. And then levity, right? If we get the gravity handled, and we feel that levity. Okay, so now that was first exercise. Let's do the second exercise back to level 1. So put the weight through your left leg, right foot empty, put the right heel in front, toes lifted off the floor. So we're here. Notice I'm not way out in front, big step. We start with just a small step. The primary direction is still down, even though I'm now moving forward as I go into this right leg, and then I'm moving backward as I go into my left leg. Put the right foot in front of you, moving forward. But as I said, forward, the primary direction isn't forward, it's down. And the only way down is by relaxing. So relax down to the earth through your right leg. Mountain, cloud. And then relax down through your left leg. Mountain, cloud. And again, down through. And then down through. And we go down through. Down through. So this is where things start to get a little, they feel more dangerous when we're moving forward or backwards in space, right? That's where we start to maybe lose our balance. But if we can remember, Zhong Zheng, central upright, Chunwa, down to the earth, down to the earth, right? Now we'll go level 2. Be in your left leg, back in your left leg, right leg is empty from this hip. Lift, lower, shift, down to the earth. Once you're down through that right leg, left foot should be empty enough that you can just flamingo, spin the knee, put the toe back down, and then shift. So down through the back leg. Now from this empty hip, just lift, lower, shift. They call this separating empty and full. Most of the time, we're not taking the time to actually separate the two, to actually feel full, empty. So again, make sure your right foot is in front. It's my left, your right, I'm your mirror. So lift, lower, shift. And then lift, lower, shift. And the hip, lift, lower, shift. Zhong zheng intact. Bend the knee. Now, from the hip, knee, heel, shift. Then bring this back leg, knee, toe, shift. From the knee, lift, lower, shift. Weight going down allows the up. If you get this bullseye down, this becomes easy. Get this bullseye down. Remember the down. All right, we're going to switch sides. So bring your right foot next to your left foot, side step, and be closer to your other chair for safety. Put the weight through your right leg, left foot out in front, heel touching, loose, nimble, easy. Right? Now, shift. Weight goes down through the left leg, empty in the back foot, and then switch that. Go down through the right leg, empty in the left, and then switch. Primary direction is down, even though that's moving us forwards in space and backwards in space. Forwards in space. Backwards in space. But we're not getting over our skis forwards or backwards because we're not thinking forward or backwards. We're just going down to the earth. How's my relationship to the earth? How's my relationship to the earth? Level 2. From this empty leg hip, we should be able to lift and lower without any disturbance, and then we change down to the earth through the left leg. Now we should be able to flamingo, right? Bring that back foot up, and then touch the toe back down, and shift. And then from the hip, lift, lower, shift. Now, premature stepping or lifting is what gets you in trouble, meaning you didn't pay attention to that moment where you really separate empty and full, and then this becomes no problem. And then separate full, empty, and this becomes no problem. Change. And that's all organized around this central pivot, which as we release and relax, this pivot becomes this quality of stillness that isn't stuck in place. It's a stillness that is also totally free to move. It's quite a sensation. Next, level 3, use the chair where needed. So again, still, and lift. Lower. Shift. Primary direction down. Lift. Reach back. And shift. Primary direction down. That gives you freedom to lift. Vertical line intact. Middle is relaxed. Shift. Best news about Tai Chi practice is where it leads us is to a place of peace, which is why I think it is so perfect for Parkinson's, because I've seen everyone that I work with, either in groups or privately, be able to be in a state of ease and high functionality, and then something happens and everything gets sort of haywire, right? It's like a fragility or a vulnerability at the nervous system level. But if you can practice this feeling of, I can be highly functional and totally leisurely, right? I feel like that is this magic sauce that you have to cultivate, and it can directly impact the Parkinson's. Now bring your left foot in. Let's switch sides again. Back over this way. Same feeling of that first exercise, except now we take an extra step. So put your right foot in front, heel touching. Now we shift, the weight goes down through, your back foot is empty. Now this is an important part of this, is that when you step, notice how I can step with no body weight, and step back with no body weight, and step forward, and step back, forward, back, without disturbing this stillness. So I just advanced the foot or advanced backwards. Now put it in front, leave it there, and shift. Get to the tippy toe of that other foot. Now, back into your right leg. Once the front foot is empty, again, just step it back, and remember, it stays empty when you step, because a lot of times people go like this with all their body weight, as opposed to step it first and then smoothly shift back. And remember, back is down, forward is down. Step, forward is down. Right? So now you should be with your left foot in front here, left foot in front. Right? Left foot with your weight in it. Now, so we're going shift to the right leg, step the left, shift to the left. So we're making two changes now around our middle. Shift, step, shift. Shift back, step back, shift back. Casual. In this middle pivot, this middle central upright, it's as if it's just floating. Floating forwards in space, floating backwards in space, undisturbed, and it's because we're using our legs as they're meant to be used. Forward in space by just going down and down. And then backwards in space, down, down. Level 2, use the chairs for safety, just as you're doing. You should have your right foot in front, left foot behind. Now we lift, lower, shift. Now your back foot is empty. Imagine there's something on the ground that you need to step over. Pick up the foot, left foot, and step over it and place the heel down empty. And then shift. And then flamingo, your right foot. And then down. And then shift back. Now your front foot, lift, bend, and reach back with no body weight, shift back. And then lift, lower, shift. So again, it's the down to the earth that allows the freedom of that left foot to safely step, and then shift, and it's the down to the earth here that allows you the freedom to lift, lower, shift. So alternate sideways, so you can see this one, it's up, tuck, reach. That should be your left leg. That should be your left leg, right? I'm your mirror. Up, tuck, reach, shift back. And then one more. Lift, lower, shift, up and over, shift, bend the knee, lift, lower, down to the earth through the right leg. That allows the freedom. Now, level 3, knee all the way up. Use the chair for safety. Right knee all the way up, down, shift. Now go left heel to butt, knee up, foot out, all the while keeping this vertical. You let that leg go down, find the earth, and then knee up. Now reach the foot back, shift back. Now we're going knee, foot, reach, shift back, shift back. So we're walking forwards, walking backwards, right? And we're just making that free, unhindered movement. This is like a gauntlet for your balance, an internal gauntlet for your brain, nervous system. And eventually you find ease. Step right foot next to left foot, step sideways. Shift over to this side. Put the weight down through that right leg, left foot empty, heel out in front. Now we're gonna shift into the left. And just do this a couple of times. With your right foot empty, go boom, 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 boom. And take very close notice of the no change of weight. The weight is 100% through the left. The right foot is empty. Now, step the right foot in front. Now change. Weight down through the right leg. Then shift back into the left. Step the right foot back, no body weight. Shift back. And again, shift, step, shift. And then shift into the left, step back with the right, shift. And again, shift, step, shift. Shift into your right legs. The important thing is that we're making two changes. We're going change into the left, stepping, and then changing back into the right. So we're getting this seesaw pivot to get good at going through that change. We're going change into the left, step, change back into the right. Change back into the left, step back, change into the right. All the while floating. Let's go level 2. Use the chair for safety as needed. From the hip, lift, lower, shift. Now this is where there's that obstacle. Pick up the right foot, step over, step it down, and then shift into it, and then flamingo your back foot. Just pull the foot off the floor. That test, did you actually go into your right? Put the foot down. Now it's changed. Did you actually get into your left so that you can make this little reverse step? And then change. And then from the hip, lift, lower. Now we're going forward. Shift, step over that item on the floor, shift, flamingo. Put it down. Now we're going backwards. Shift, step over that item on the floor that's in your way, shift. From the hip, lift, lower. One more time. Shift, step over, shift, flamingo. Shift down, shift back, step back. And then finally level 3. Yep. Heel softly down. Shift. Step over, but exaggerate each of the joint movements. So it's heel to butt, knee up, foot out, lower down. So that's just like blazing the trail in the brain, the joints, the tissues. Shift. And then here we bring this knee forward and up, like we're going to step up onto a big high stair, and then reverse, stepping back. Stepping back. Now we shift, and then we just exaggerate this again. So it's knee, tuck the foot, reach, and then shift. And we exaggerate all the way full range. Shift. Heel, knee, foot, down, shift, knee, back. And down. Now, you guys stay as you are. I'm just going to adjust something. So now we're all facing the same direction. Again, if you set up like I told you to set up, then all this is very easy. It flows really nicely. So move yourself to the left side of your space and then turn. So your chairs should be to your left now. And turn and notice how I have a big runway across. That's what I want you to have. So you got to have a runway going across your room. So now you have room to take maybe 4 or 5 steps. Let's do level 1, walking. So empty your left foot, fill the right, put that left foot in front with the heel touching. Then we shift into that left, wait until your foot is empty, then step that empty foot, heel in front, Not too big of a step. Take small steps so you can practice this vertical relationship to the ground. Primary direction is down. Shift into your next leg, step, step, step. Get across your runway, and then reverse. So you shift into one foot, the empty foot, you step it behind you, toe touch. Shift back, step the empty foot behind, toe touch. Shift back. Remember, down is the important direction that gives you the up. If you get the down correct, you won't fall over. It's only when we lose the down that we teeter over and fall, and we grab on with a bunch of tension and so on and so forth. But if you can find this releasing down quality, go ahead and just walk forward, backwards again. All the way across. Right, and then down, down. It's just such good news. When you start to feel it, you go, I can relax so much of that excess stress and strain that I have while I'm walking. Because that's just getting in the way of finding the ground. Let's go level 2, shift, and then each step, just step up and over something. Like you're in tall grass or something. You have to step up and over, but you still have to get that relationship to the earth to keep you safe when you're stepping up and over. Down to the earth, every step. Reverse, and be careful on the way backwards, extra careful, just because there's a tendency for us to lurch our weight instead of remembering this lightness, this easy quality. The correct allowance of gravity to settle gives us the levity, reveals the lightness, the smoothness. Okay, turn and face forward, body weight down through your left leg, right foot is empty, step it out, in. So I'm going to turn around so I can see you guys. So out, but also 2 things are important with this. The whole foot has to get down. I'm not doing this, right? If I'm doing this, I'm not really training what I need. I have to soften through this here leg and sidestep and open this groin area, this quad, and then close it. Open, close. The other thing that people do is let this glued shut quality bring the weight so that when they step, their whole body goes with it. So we're separating. So now see this. Can you double time what the right foot is doing? But you gotta touch the heel to the ground. If you're not touching the heel, you're not really finding the step. Now step out and leave the foot out. Both feet stay glued to the ground. Change 100% in the left. Don't lift your right heel. I'm sorry, 100% in the right. Don't lift your, don't do this. Don't come out of the foot. Keep that foot down, but move the body weight through to the earth over here, and then move the body weight back down through the earth on the left leg, but don't lift that right heel. So our feet are both connected, plugged in, and then we're finding the internal mechanism and internal real estate that allows us to move in space, adapt, change where we are. Now, stay in your right leg. Left foot should be empty so it can float in, float out, float in, float out, heel touching. Try also not to turn your leg out too much, because that's another way we cheat. Keep some amount of sort of neutral forward pointing. That forces this space in here to actually open and close, right? So this should be a lateral movement, not a turning movement. Lateral movement. Now, bring that left foot in, touch your feet together. This is an unstable base. And now we want to find weight down through the left leg. weight down through the right. Now keep your feet together. Down through, down through. This one is really good at finding the quad, navel, and low back mechanism that allows us the freedom of change and keeps the vertical integrity. Freedom of change in the lower, full and empty without losing any of this central line integrity. Now, right foot empty, side step out, change. Right leg full, left foot empty, bring the left foot in together. Change, so the weight goes down through the left, again, which frees you up to side step with the right. Change. Right leg full, left empty, that frees you up to bring that left foot all the way in. There should be no body weight in the left. Even as I bring it in, I keep it empty so that I can feel the moment where I decide to make this now the full. This is the empty step. This should still be empty. And then change. Full, empty, move the empty, change. Full, empty, move the empty. So it's the emptiness that is the power of mobility. The fullness is stability. You have to have both elements present for a functioning vehicle, right? Now we go back. So out, change, in, change. It's the premature step that makes us clumsy. Right? You can see as I'm doing it, it looks pretty easy. It looks pretty chill. If I had a teacup on my head, I wouldn't be spilling it. Whereas the moment I start to lurch and do this and try to speed up, now there's all this rocking of the boat. And I've lost my still point, lost my stillness. Okay, now since we're only going to get to the lateral movement, we're not going to do the turnaround. I do want to add the bear washing pause while walking. So first, let's just do this portion. So stand wide. From your middle pivot, remember we just did this, where we're changing from right leg to left leg. So you got that lateral bit. Now this turning bit, which would be an opening of this groin area, closing of this one, and a slight turn. And then a closing of this one, opening of this one, and turn. So there's both of those things happening. There's the shift to the right leg and turn to the right. And then shift to the left leg, then turn to the left. So that starts to create this quality, this centrifugal force, this spiral, you could say. So now you're floating Tai Chi arms, which are not, Frankenstein arms. They're alive, right? They're like octopus tentacles, more like. So now as you shift to your left, turn to the left a little and sweep your bear paws across with the hands facing this way. And then turn the hands around. So this is ready for what's called brush knee. This is ready for sweep leg. So now we shift to the right leg, turn from the middle pivot, and then again, the tentacles sweep across because they're free and alive. And then the hands turn, they get ready, and we go change leg, turn from middle pivot, brush knee, sweep the leg. Then the hands turn. Shift to the right leg, turn, brush knee, sweep leg. Hands turn and get ready. So this is kind of like we're loaded up. We're a loaded weapon. And then we are shifting, then turning, then brushing, then sweep. And then shifting, then turning, then brushing, then sweep. Shift and turn and brush and sweep. Shift and turn and brush, sweep. One more time to your left. Now, this is where we add the walk. So, right foot is out. We shift and turn, brush and sweep. Now notice here, your left foot is empty. Step in, but it's still empty. Now change the weight to the left leg, turn from the middle, brush and sweep. So we have our close stance, yet we still execute the bear wash paw. Then step out. Shift and turn and brush and sweep. We're all loaded up. We step in, shift, turn, brush, sweep. The right foot is empty, step out. Shift and turn, brush, sweep. Step in. Shift and turn, brush, sweep. Step out. I move across the room. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. Step in. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. Step out. Shift, turn, brush, sweep. Step in. Now we got to go back the other way. Out. And we shift, turn, brush, sweep. Step in. So you notice I created this in my space, a big old runway. So David, you're like sort of stuck inside of a very narrow place. That might be what's throwing you off a little bit. You need to get to create next time, just try to have your room set up or be in a place where you have room for 5 or so steps so that you can get this flow of cross, step in, shift, turn, step out. So I'm advancing. And what this is helping us find is this total freedom of movement, totally limber to turn, rotate, and shift, change, while at the same time not feeling like we're rocking our boat and about to fall over, right? Because you can see, let's do that one more time, there and back. You can see in my body, freedom of movement, right? I'm spiraling, I'm sweeping, I'm stepping, but I don't look like I'm about to fall over at any point. So there's a lot happening out here. All this movement is changing, shifting, stepping. But if you have an eye for it, you can see stillness. And it's that softness that allows the stillness. Move, change, turn. So this supple quality. Hands together, rub. Back of one hand, palms. Back of other hand, palms. Quad or groin area, so genital area in the middle, groin space on the other side. And then the top of the thigh muscle right where it bundles just underneath the pelvis, right there, the hip flexor. Cross the hip flexor. So notice I'm going out, in, across the fiber. Then around to the tail, sacrum, and then up, right onto all these muscles. These are really important ones. You got your lumbar spine in the middle, and all this space tends to get bunched, gripped. There's deep muscles in there. So it's a lot of times where our back pain is originating and our lack of feeling balance is originating from tightness right in those muscles, kind of below the kidney area. All right, and then now, like you're doing a squat, stick your butt back, sit, sweep the hands down and around, and then come all the way up to the navel. Do that one more time, just the leg. The butt goes back, sweep down the outside of the legs, around, up. One more. Down the outer back side, up the front side. The belly button there, David. David, belly button. See my hands here, David? Yeah. So when you come up the middle, we're going to here, to this center, the navel, right in the belly button, right? Because that's that central pivot. Okay. Then we go up the outer arm to the shoulder, turn the palm up, down the inner arm and off the fingertips. Up the outer arm to the shoulder, turn the arm down. So this is a reset. We are smoothing out the direction that the natural flow of life force goes in the body. According to Chinese medicine, Taoist studies, their way of looking at it. Other arm, the yang channels, that side of the body that sees the sun, and then the yin channels, the shady side of the body, softer, paler side. Outer, inner, outer, inner. We're just doing like a reset. And then final closing, wings. Roll your palms up, fold at the elbows, hands come over top, settling down to the navel again. This is the middle. The middle is important. It controls everything. And then we seal the practice. Go one hand over top of the belly button, other hand stacked. Take 3 breaths here. Try to be as absolutely soft as you can at every joint relationship. The common blocked areas are the knees, where we punch back the knees. We want them soft. And then the shoulders, the upper back, shoulder, neck area, elbows and chest. This whole region we tend to hold soft. And then what happens after a practice, it's this idea like, let's say you have a tarp out in the water, the dew, and you pull up on the corners of that tarp, and all the dew settles to the middle of the tarp. That's kind of what we do here after our practice by softening everything. Our chi naturally settles to where the middle is. So we're not forcing it somewhere. It's not even really a belief system like my center is here, I have to believe in it. It's more like get out of the way. Think nothing at all. And your life force naturally goes where it rests. And then final gesture, what's called the Taoist bow, Taoist mudra, little grab of thumb, fold. What that does creates a little yin-yang looking symbol. And thank you, everybody. Find your chair, make sure you're comfortable, have a seat. And again, we're over time today. Sorry about that. But so if you have to leave right away, feel free to just wave and go. If you have any questions, I got about 2 minutes, we can chat.